Welcome back to day 28 of the 30-day coding challenge. Today, we're going to be building this product list with a cart. If you're new here, hi, my name's Zoe. I'm a software engineer and former university professor that loves teaching folks how to code. If you're interested in learning how to code and potentially starting a career in front-end web development, check out the link to our bootcamp in the description below. But without further ado, let's hop into day 28 of the challenge. So, as you can see, it's a pretty straightforward sort of single page app here that just has a list of potential desserts from this company and then a cart in which you're able to add them to and then increase or decrease the count and get some sort of order total. So that's what we're going to be working on building today. We're going to work with Redux and yeah, let's hop into the stack. So I've already gone ahead and grabbed all the assets. This is actually a free design from Frontend Mentor. So if you want to follow along, please check that link in the description below. There's another link with the link to the design. But yeah, you can grab all the images, and actually they provide a data.json file that we can use to populate the page, which would be really, really helpful. So yeah, the design is there. The starter files, I'm using Material UI, Next.js, TypeScript, and the app router. And so I'll link that down below as well. And this is like the app just spun up with nothing going on there. So I've already gone ahead, as I said, and brought in the data.json that they provided from Frontend Mentor. So that's here. I've done a little bit of modification here just to kind of clean it up, add some IDs, make it a little bit more simple. But yeah, if you do follow that link down below, you'll see the version that they provide and the differences here. And then I've gone ahead and dropped in the images as well. They provide all the images that you saw for the different products they have offered, and so I've just gone ahead and put that in there so we can have access to those as well. So yeah, just taking a look at our data to start with, because I think it's important to understand the data structure before you start to try and work with it. I've gone ahead, as I said, I added an ID field just because they didn't have that, and I think that's going to be useful when we're trying to target which products we're adding, increasing and decreasing the count for. So the ID, there's an image that links to whatever the image is for that product is, the name, the category, and the price. So it's pretty straightforward data structure. There are 9 different items here. And yeah, so we'll work with that. If we need to make modifications to it, we will, because again, we control the data, which is kind of the great thing about using Frontend Mentor for projects like this. So let's hop into it. I'm going to go ahead, and as I always do, I'm going to delete the sort of base CSS files that are just in there already, but you can feel free to work with them if you'd like, or not at all. And then within our styles as well, I'm just going to modify the theme. It's going to be a light theme today. I'm not sure how much work we're going to do with the theme file, but just in case, I have that set up. Looking at the page here, it seems like we're basically just going to be creating a couple of components. So we'll be creating the sort of main, whatever you want to call it. We have the home page, and then we'll have this like product component, I guess, and then the cart. So really it's the main page, the product component, and the cart. Those are sort of like our main components that we're going to be working with. So yeah, let's get started. First things first, I'm going to close these out and open up the page. It looks like the background color here is not, yeah, color rose 50. So I'm going to set the background color of the page to that. Cool. So that'll be the background color of the page. Awesome. And then we'll have this desserts piece as the header. So I'll grab the color for that. And we'll just use a typography element for that. And size 40. Cool. Pretty straightforward. It also looks like there's a bit of a container around this. So I'm just going to go ahead and change this from a box to a container. Set the max width to large. Cool. Awesome. So we just get that built-in padding. The other thing I want to do, I'm going to add a little bit of margin here. We'll say margin. On top, I want what? I guess that's the whole thing actually. So let's say some margin here, or some padding. Padding top. We'll say 5.5 rem. And then we'll say margin below, margin bottom. I'm not sure if we'll end up putting that margin on. Actually, I think I'm going to end up putting that margin on the actual product, so we'll leave that alone for now. So we have our title. Move on from there. New folder, components, because we do have a lot to set up. Also, I've gone ahead and installed React Redux and Redux Toolkit because we will be working with those, so that's already been installed. So we're creating our first product now. I'm just going to use the box, and I'm going to go ahead and make this a client component just because we're going to be using state with it, and it'll be easier on our importing. Let's go ahead and just build out one of these, and then we can start to hook it up to our data. So, excuse me. We have we have the add to cart button. We have the waffle. Okay, so this is a category. This is the title. This is the price. So yeah, let's start with an image, or is it going to be a background component? No, let's start with an image. And if anything, we can change it. Source is going to be image. Let me just check what our data. Yeah, image. Alt equals product image. Height is going to be, we can change this, but 240. Width is going to be 240. And I should add in that this is going to take in props. Image, string, ID, ID, number, name, string, category, string, and price number. Cool. So we have those, and then we'll take those in here. So ID, image, name, category, price. Save that, and close that out, and send that to props. Cool. So that's where we'll get our image from. I noticed that the border radius is probably, let's try 0.5 rem to start with. And then on top of that now, we have this add to cart button that I guess when you click add to cart, it transforms. So let's go ahead and I'm going to actually create an add to cart button. Just so this file doesn't get super long. So there's going to be a lot of logic in it as well. So how does that work? We want it to be a button, and then once it's in the cart, it'll be a toggle. So we'll start with a button. And okay, I'll put it in here. Say add to cart button. And this button is going to have two modes. It's going to have this mode where it has that like orange stroke, rose stroke, and then it's going to have the toggle stroke. I think it's going to take in interface props is item in cart. That's going to be a boolean. A boolean is item in cart. And then if, I think actually we're going to keep the outside of the button the same, but the inside will change. So is item in cart, we'll say border. Border is going to be is item in cart. If yes, border will be none, else it will be 1 pixel solid, that color, that rose color. Background color, regular white. Same thing. We're going to say background color is item in cart. If yes, it's going to be this. If no, it's going to be white. Same thing for the text. Is item in cart? If yes, the color is going to be white. If no, I think it's this. It's that same. Oh no, sorry, it's going to be this. What else do we have there? I think as far as styles, that might be it. And then things will be consistent. So like font size. Well, let me not put it on the. I guess I could put it on the button. Font size. And font weight 600. Those should be the same. And then we get to the interesting part on the inside. So like, if is item in cart, if it is, then we want to show like a toggle. So we want to show button minus button plus. If the item is not in the cart, we want to show, I wonder if we got that cart icon. Icon add to cart. So we'll bring an image from next image. Copy relative path. Alt cart. Height will be, width will be 16. And then it will say add to cart. All right. Pretty straightforward there. And we'll just set that to false for now. We could just flip it back and forth, but that's going to be something that we'll do separately. We'll do that with Redux. Another thing that's going to be consistent is the border radius. I think it's like something like 4M or something. All right, let's have a look. So then the products, I'm going to actually go ahead and map through the data. So we're going to say import data from data dot slash data slash data. I'm going to say data.map for each item. I'm going to go ahead and return a product. And the key is going to be item.id, and the rest is going to be item. All right, pass that in there. Cannot read properties of undefined. Oh, okay, cool. All right, cool. So far, it's something. Button's not looking too bad. We can start to style it out a little bit. So add to cart button is item in cart. Okay, looking good. And then all right, we'll just leave it as it is. It's all right. So we have our add to cart with the product now. Let's do this up. I'll say flex direction is going to be the column. The great thing about this is once we do this once, we don't have to do it again, and then we'll just work on the cart. Okay. And, oh, you know what? I need to wrap this in some sort of box. Okay, and then we'll say flex, wrap, and wrap. All right, that looks pretty good. And the other thing that we need to think about, new file, cart. This is gonna take up space on the page, so I wanna be considering that when I'm designing. And this. We're just going to drop this on the page. No, we don't want that. Yeah, we need it outside of it, but we also need it next to it. Okay, good. Cart is gonna be, let's try 40 view width. Okay, perfect. All right, so we just have that taking up space, which is great. Not sure why it's actually so small. All right, cool. So yeah, now we have our cart. So we have those two items, and actually really the cart is supposed to be further up, but maybe we can just translate it up. Something to that effect. All right, cool. We'll touch that up as we go on. What I want to do, the reason I put the card there is because I want to actually work on like the separation of elements and things like that. So we have the image, we have the add to cart button. We need some typography elements. So we're going to have one that is the category. It's going to be this color. The font size is, this is going to be the category. And then we'll have another typography element that is going to be this color. And it's going to be regular, but a little bold. And then we're going to have the price, which is exactly the same as this, except red. Cool. And those three are just going to line up at the bottom there. Nice. Except the shoot price. And I'm going to put a $, and I'm going to say to fixed, and then 2. Perfect. Awesome. So yeah, what I want to do with the button, I'm going to set a max width. Yep. I'm gonna and then and just move it up a little bit. And yeah, it looks pretty good to me. So I think we're done with the product itself. In terms of passing in the data, what we want to do is now give it the stylistic separation. So we'll say margin top to rem. Oh, not to the button. Oops. On the product itself. Good. And then with this, we want to say justify content, space between. Good. And awesome, it spaces itself out. Perfect. And then I'm going to say the same thing for here. Justify content, space between. Cool. I think I need to make the card a little bit smaller, but cool. All right. So we have that. Let me swap the is item card to true so we can style out the the button here, because that's not gonna look great. I think we should give it a fixed width. We'll say width is 80% rather than max width. Width is 80% regardless. And then we'll say actually turn that into a box. We'll say space between. Three errors. Okay, and then background color none. Oh, it does have a little funky border there. Border 1 pixel solid white. Color white. Background color transparent. There we go. And we'll say border radius to rem. Let's go 5 rem for it. Display flex, justify content, space between, width 80%. Oops, padding. Okay, looks pretty decent. Copy these styles to the second button. And there we go. Got 2 buttons. Oh, it's a button within a button. I wonder that's going to be a problem. Okay. So let's just change this to a div. Or box. Yeah. Yep. And then this is a button. Okay. Yeah, that works a little better. because otherwise it's not going to actually toggle, which makes sense. Okay. Okay. Just padding. Actually, this should be here. Say height. Oh, interesting. Still not clickable. I just want to make sure it's clicking properly, because if not, that's going to create a bigger issue down the road. And I'm going to add the same thing to the plus button here. Okay, cool, it's clicking. If I change this to true. Okay, cool, it's clicking. Just want to make sure that's true. What else is missing here? I think just straightening it out. Okay, we got our add to cart. And then we'll switch it to true. And then we'll fix up this. We'll say oops, wrong one. Just check on this line items center. Good. And then padding. Good. Take that out. Take that out. We'll say padding. Or we'll say margin left. Now we'll say margin right. Okay, good. So if I change between the two, yeah, they're the same size. Awesome. So we have the add to cart. That's good to go. Let us actually work on the store and the cart itself. So looking at our cart, it's just a box right now. Let's add a little bit of style to it. Let's say padding 1.5 rem. And then say your cart. And it's gonna be this color. And then it's going to be 24 pixels. And bold. Okay, and then we'll have these items. So we'll say and cart item is gonna take in item, or will it take it in, or will it just, I'm not sure if it's gonna no, it's gonna take it in. Yeah, item, price, and quantity. Yeah, it might take in a few actions, or maybe the actions will come later. All right, and so then in this box, we're going to have this. That. And then we'll have another box with typography elements. So typography, so item, this one's gonna be this. 14. And then we'll have, that's one, and then we'll have a box. Quantity. One is going to be, oh, the price, and then the total price. Gotcha. Let me. Price. And then this const, oops, const total price equals quantity, or equals price times quantity. It's gonna be this, it's gonna be this color. And this one as well. Cool. So we have those three, and then we're going to have some sort of delete button here on the right hand side. So we have there, we'll have a button. We'll say color is going to be this. Cool. And then these are going to be space between. And then all right, so that's kind of the feel of a cart item at the moment. So we'll start to use that in just a second. What we need to do now is actually create our store. So let's do that. Close out a bunch of these, create a new folder. We'll say store. And we're just going to hop back over to material with Redux. We're going to do the TypeScript quick start. And we're just going to borrow a few of the pieces here just to make our lives a little bit easier. Okay, and then good. So now we'll change these to be cart, cart, cart. So we have our cart slice. Now we're going to change it totally, but well, not totally, but we'll change it a bit for sure. Cool. But we are set up, and then we need to wrap it in a provider. We need to wrap the whole app in a provider. So we'll go to our layout file, and we'll say provider from React Redux. Wrap the app in that. And we'll say store is store. And we'll say import store from import store. Export it. Okay. And then we have to turn it to a client component and get rid of the metadata because it's going to give us that error. Cool. So the store is set up. Now let's think about what we want to do with our store. So with the store, we want to be able to add items to our cart with all of the data that we need. So that's the price, the ID, the title. We want to be able to add them to the cart. We want to be able to increase the quantity of the item. And we also want to be able to potentially delete those items from the cart. So I think we just tackle those one at a time. So add, increase, and delete. So if I go to our product, I think we're gonna need a few of these open. So if we go to the product, we want to say, when we click add to cart button, it adds it to cart. So for the cart, we want to, for the cart slice, I should say, we want to say cart is an array. Cart is an empty array. And yeah, these are not going to be happy for the moment. We'll just comment those out for a second. Yeah, that's not going to be happy either. And that's not going to be cart. But we'll say the first reducer is going to be add to cart. That's going to state.cart.push action. Oh, I should take an action as well. Action.payload, right? No, okay. Let's Google this and see what we can do. There we go. Okay, cool. So yeah, what we really want to do is just type that, but we're pushing through for the moment. All right, so let's see if that works. And then we want to be able to see if we have our cart. So then the cart is going to be, we're gonna say const cart items equals use app selector state dot cart items. We'll say cart items dot map for each item. We want to go ahead and return a cart item key will be the ID and the item.id. Okay, and then in the add to cart button, when we click that, we want to give the product information. So we'll say ID, image, oops, name. Actually, don't need the image. This could be price. ID, name, and price are the most important. Let's say ID, number, name, string, price, number. We'll say ID, name, price. And then on click, you want to dispatch. We're going to say const dispatch equals use app dispatch. We're using the app dispatch as opposed to using dispatch directly imported from React Redux because they're typed, because we're using TypeScript. But if you're not using TypeScript, you don't have to worry about this. And then you can say dispatch add to cart, and we want to pass in ID is ID, price is price, and name is name. And that's what we're going to do there. Cool. So let's see if that worked. Oh, it just stopped running. So now when I click add to cart, oh, I'm clicking it, but nothing's happening. Weird. Oh, it keeps. Basic. Weird. This is a new error. All right, let me see if I can fix this. Okay, let's try it again. Okay, at least we're getting an error now. Receive not. String. Okay, good. It worked. We're missing pieces, but it worked. Okay, good. So if you get that same error, now you know what to do. Okay, so this is, it's getting not a number for cart. Oh, this is for the cart item. Item price. Oh, I didn't give a quantity. I will say quantity. Right, on the first add to cart, quantity should be 1. Okay. There we go. I think it's probably an issue with the button. I probably need to make the surface area a little bit bigger. But we can see that it's somewhat working. Let's see, I added name, and then what did I take it in as? Item. Oh, I took it in as item. So we'll just change that to name. 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 Okay, good. Waffles with berries. It looks like that button needs a little bit of padding. All right, cool. So we have our first item. Let's give some space between these two, I'll say. Good. And then for the larger box, we'll say. Good. And then I think for the cart, I'll say good. All right, cool. So we have that. Good. Okay, cool. That's looking pretty decent. So we have waffle with berries. If I add a macron, it's interesting. I have to click it twice. Okay, we'll look into that. We'll give it some. I want to go ahead and console log all the cart items. Just see if what I'm seeing is correct. So let's restart. Waffle. Okay, it adds it. Okay, and it shows up. Okay, now it's doing it immediately. I don't know why I wasn't doing it before, but okay, cool. So that's fine. We'll leave that. And then, so we have add to cart. The next thing we want to do is maybe remove from cart. So we'll say state action state dot cart dot the action dot payload. Whoops. Dot payload. Not payload. Or no. What if splice? I wonder if that's one of the things. Splice. Or am I thinking find? Find where item dot ID thread items dot ID equals action dot payload. How do I want to do this? I could do a filter. But it state.cart.filter for item or item.id does not equal action.payload. That could work. Let's see if that works. Let's go to cart item. We're going to say const dispatch. We'll use app dispatch. And then we're going to say, we also export it. I'm going to say on click. Remove from cart, and I need to pass, dispatch, remove from cart, and that name, price, quantity, I'm gonna have to actually pass it the ID. Good, and then I'll pass it ID. Okay, not sure if this is going to work, but let's try it. Add to cart. See, I still have to add it twice. Okay. Dispatch remove from cart. Okay, so it was clicked. So filter is not the right way to do that. State.cart or there we go. There we go. Okay, cool. So we have the remove from cart, we have the add to cart. Now I'm not saying this is the best situation because we do have to go through all of them, but it works in terms of like optimized performance kind of thing. The next thing we want to do here, if we've got an add to cart, we've got remove from cart. Let me just make sure this is actually working. Okay, seems to be actually working. Let's remove the console log. So we have those two. The next thing we want to do is add to cart, remove from cart, increase the quantity, right? So when we are on our product page, we have the add to cart button, right? So we need to find out if the item is in the cart. Or maybe what we do is on click, we could set is item in cart to true. Although I would prefer if it wasn't based on that. It was really just based on whether or not the item was in the cart. Yeah. So I say const is item in cart equals, let's say const cart equals use app selector state dot cart. Or we could also do it like this. This is the same thing. And then inside cart dot find the item if item .id equals ID. And that'll tell us whether or not the item is in the cart. So then what I want to do now is console.log is item in cart. Let's see if that's working. Okay, so we'll refresh. And I want to console log it with the name, so I know which one it is. Okay, so undefined. If I add to cart, then we have, yes, and it's flipped over, amazing. How is that? And then we can do the boolean of that. There we go. Okay, perfect. So we are getting is item in cart, and then what we need to do with the add to cart, but it's not really, it's add to cart and it's a toggle, so that was badly named. But what I need to do is, we're getting all of that. For the quantity, this is the tricky bit. We want to start, well, the quantity should start at 1 first of all, so that's just bad planning on my part. Quantity should start at 1. Let me look at the cart. It's an item, quantity 1. So on click, we want to say update, increase quantity. And we want to say state.cart. State.cart. I wonder if we could. Dot quantity. I wonder if that works. Or if I say const ID equals action.payload. And then we could say state.cart. Oops. State.cart.filter for item where item.id equals ID. And then state.cart. Selected item all right, I'm not sure if that's gonna work, but let's try it. We're gonna say increase quantity. That's gonna be on this button. Dispatch. Okay. So let's refresh. Okay. Cannot read properties of undefined reading quantity. Yeah. It's kind of unexpected to happen. I think it's because I'm targeting it incorrectly. Yeah, I think that's what happened there. Okay, so okay. 29 is undefined. 28 is proxy object. All right. So, okay, instead what we could do is state.cart. Isn't there an index of? Find index. There we go. All right, so let's try that. We'll say state.cart.find index of selected item. And then we'll say const index equals that. And then we'll try this as that. Type error object is not a function. Okay, what if I did that cart equals, we remove it from the cart. but that's gonna be not ideal. Let me console.log index. Object is not a function. If I filter for it, try index of. Okay. Oh, no. But getting slightly, well, it gave me like -1 as an index. That's not good. That means, in other words, it does not exist. And I'm passing in the ID. Yeah, because -1 means it does not exist in the array at all. Interesting. Let's add state.card. Okay, I think I just need to do something with it here. What if I did this? So I said const cart equals use app selector cart, oops, state dot cart const index item index equals cart dot filter for item where item dot item dot ID equals ID cart dot no, that's not quite what I want. Cart dot index of item. But how do you get the item without getting? Okay, that's how we get it. We say const item equals cart dot filter for item where item dot ID equals ID. Oops, ID. And then we'll say cart index of console log, sorry, item index. Oh, there are too many console logs. This is add to cart button 23. Oh, it's still not finding it. Well, console.log cart. Well, console item. I think this is the best shot of figuring out what we're doing wrong here. And by we, I mean me. Okay, 21, 22, 26. So cart is an array, but item we're not getting. Interesting. Why are we not getting ID? That's maybe it's, oh, I'd be so mad if it's just ID is not right. Console log ID. ID is 9. Is that right? No, that's not right. Oh, okay, no. Oh, okay, so yeah, item is correct. Okay, so for the first item, it is correct, which is what we expect. But then it says it does not exist in the cart, which is what confuses me because they're the same object. All right. Not sure why that's not working. All right, we'll just get rid of these. Let's do a different. Find index. All right. Okay, let's try this one. Okay, so that worked. So then if I pass the item index, yes, that'll work. Okay, that'll work. So on click, we want to say increase quantity. We want to pass an item index. I don't know why I'm whispering. And then we'll take it here. We'll say state dot cart dot action dot payload dot splice. No, dot action dot payload. State dot cart dot action dot payload. So the index dot quantity equals plus equals 1. I think that's right. But I want a console.log the cart. Okay. Cool. Okay. Yes. It worked. All right, so we figured out how to find the index. All right, so once we get the index there, so just to recap, we grabbed the cart, we figured out if it was the correct item, and then we found the index of that item within the cart array. And then we went ahead and passed that to our function here, increase quantity, so that we could target that specific item and increase the quantity by 1. And that's what we did there. So then here, what I need to do is I need to display the quantity. Cart, state cart, start cart. What am I getting on the cart item? I'm just passing it from the cart, and from the cart I'm mapping the cart items. Gotcha. So then in the add to cart button, I really just need to grab that item. So I say cart item index dot quantity, and that should be my quantity. Yes, perfect. All right, let's see if this works for more than one item. Add to cart 4, 5. Add to cart 4. Okay, add to cart 2, and then let's delete that. Awesome. Delete that. Awesome. All right. It's working. It's working. All right, so then we have that. That was kind of the hardest part. We have that part working. The last piece we need is our order total, and then just these last little stylings down here. So let's go ahead and add that to our cart. So it's going to go underneath all the cart items. We're going to say, let me have a box here. Oops, box. We're going to say order total. It's going to be this color and size 14. Cool. And then on the other side, it's going to be the total price of the order. And that's going to be this color and size 24. And it's going to be, so for that now, to get the total, total cost, it's going to be const total order total equals cart items I'll say const get order total. We'll say cart items.map for each item. We want, we'll say const order total equals 0. For each item, order total plus equals item dot quantity. Quantity. Okay, let. Right? And then we're gonna call that in a use effect. And then, yeah, let's see if that works. And that's just for this number. That's order total. Not sure if that works. But then we also want to, not quantity. Order total is item dot quantity times price. This stays at 0. This is order total. Okay, no, that's not working. And that's going to change when the cart changes. Cart items change, sorry. Okay, so that's triggering. Okay, so we're getting the total price. Getting the total price. I wonder if I have to set it. Const order. I feel like I'm missing something in the logic here. Is that right? 1950 plus 20. No, that's not right. Oh, I know what it is. Okay. It adds a 19 again, and that's the problem. All right, let's think about this. We have our card items. We have the number of items we have and the price of each item. It's an issue with the calling, like the timing of the calling. We want each. We basically just want to call this once. Each time the card is updated, we want to like recalculate the order total. So for each item in the cart, we want to get the number of items and the price. And set that to the temporary order total, right? Because we're doing it for each item. So it's like, I got $2 here and $4 there. We want to start with 0 and push that up there. Then once we've gone through all those items, we then want to, oh wow, I'm just doing it wrong here, and I just have to set it to that. That would be the reasonable answer. That's probably why I was working. All right. Oh, no. Oh, I see why I want it to be order total plus temp order total. Okay, that wasn't completely crazy. But it still should work. So when I add a new item to cart, the cart still has 2 items. Oh, interesting. Why is card items? Oh no, that makes sense. But why is it? Hold on. So it's only calling it for the new item. So that's card items, right? So now card items has 2. And it's mapping through both. Okay, so it shows both of them. Quantity 2, quantity 1. That should be 21, not 7. Oh. Or 20, I can count. Okay. All right, so it looks like typos are gonna be my downfall here. All right, let's sort this out. Okay. So the order total. The only other thing we have to do is get the number of items. So say const get number of items. And we're just going to copy this so we know that we're doing it right. And we're just going to change it to be item.quantity. Items, and I'm going to say const number of items, set number of items, use state 0, and then we'll say set number of items, get number of items, and then we'll use it here. We'll say number of items. All right, so we'll refresh, add to cart. Yes. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Last thing we need to implement is our decrease quantity. So I'm just going to copy and paste this here, and I'm going to change the name to be decrease quantity. Change this to be a subtraction. Go back to the add to cart button, and then on the other button we're going to say decrease quantity, and that should work. Amazing. Amazing, amazing. Perfect. Perfect. All right. So yeah, we basically used Redux to set this up. We have our 4 actions here, reducer. You know, we used, the only other thing I would say that could really up this to the next level is possibly installing Redux persist, so that when the person refreshes the page, it doesn't go away. I think that would really take this to the next level. But other than that, I think it's a pretty solid portfolio piece and a really awesome project to show that you know how to work with e-commerce sites, which is totally essential. So if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. If you want to see more content like this, feel free to subscribe down below. And if you want to see the rest of the videos in this challenge, I'll leave a link to the playlist up here so you can check those out. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.